Hello everybody, this is the Retro Bear back for a very poignant final episode of Play More in 24. Yes, this will be the last video this year on this particular series, which I hope you've enjoyed as sporadic as it has been. And we bow out with a bit of a PlayStation 1 racing challenge, courtesy of our very good friend over at Retro Red Steve. I'm of course talking about Retro Red Steve. Yeah, the Welsh guy. Anyway, he's been doing one of these every month this year, and it's been a pleasure to take part in these. It's been a lot of fun. Wish I could have played more of them, but as I think I said in the previous video, he does tend to pick the odd obscure game every now and again. Not an obscure in the fact that they're obscure, just the fact that nobody's got them, or we think they're obscure because no one happened to own a copy of Wipeout. Anyway, I'm babbling on. Today we are playing V-Rally on the PS1, because it's a PS1 racing challenge. V-Rally is a game I have a copy of twice. Why do you have a copy of it twice, I hear you ask? Well, the first one is actually I've got the original Black Label version, not the original, my original copy, because I did have this back when I was a kid, but actually the Black Label version. And also we have the Platinum version as well, which you have that one. You basically get an extra car, and also it's dual shock compatible. So Steve's picked the championship option, and as always, this thing it's basically minimal setup. So we have the basic setup for the car. The first track you come across on this, and it's just playing the first stage, which is split into 3 laps. I hope that makes sense. You know how rallying works, anyway. Now, my experiences with V-Rally, yeah, a lot of people who've played this already have sort of criticised the handling a little bit. It's not the easiest thing to control, and it's incredibly unforgiving. Apologise for some of the glitching on here. I'm not sure what's going on. It's a bit weird. It doesn't usually happen like that. Let's hope the rest of the video turns out to be okay. But yes, the handling is a bit strange. And I said, of course, incredibly unforgiving. You clip something going around the outside, and quite frankly, your lap's gone. There's very little margin for error on this. And I had 2 practice laps before I actually recorded this. So, in fact, I had 2 practice. I did actually a practice lap and a half. And I thought, well, now there we go. Just see that, just gently clipped the outside of that piece of scenery, and you can see immediately this lap is going to be destroyed. There we go. So you got so much to try and do from now on. It's so unforgiving. But yes, I had a lap and a half's practice before I recorded this. I don't know what's wrong with this glitching. That's something I need to look at. So I apologise this, but hopefully you can still see what's going on. I know a couple of lads who played it said, yeah, it's very, very unforgiving. It is a little bit. I will give it that. Once you've hit something, it is very difficult to recover. But I actually didn't mind it too much at all. I think it was not a bad rallying game. I think we played Colin McRae recently. That was definitely much better than this. But of course, V-Rally, I've got V-Rally 2 on the PlayStation. I think there's a V-Rally 3 on the PS2 as well. So it's a decent little series. But as I may have alluded to previously, I was more into Total Driving when I was a kid. I say a kid. When I was a young man growing up playing PlayStation 1, I was more into Total Driving as a game. I know some people don't quite like that because I think it's, again, the handling is really quite unresponsive. I don't know, I didn't seem to have a problem with it. But this one, I don't have a problem with it at all. I think it's a rather good game. There we go. Yeah, so first lap, 1:52 exactly. So the idea is you run the course, your quickest lap is the one that gets entered on the time, which is good. But I must admit, with all the handling issues that people had alluded to, as soon as you actually start playing it, it was very easy to pick up and go. And I always think, if you can overcome things very quickly in a game, then it's worth persevering with. There's nothing worse than playing a game where you can't actually get much further each time you keep hitting the same point. And I think once you understand the idiosyncrasies of how this actually works, it's a game which certainly helps. Now, Mrs. Bear had a go as well. I'm not recording Mrs. Bear's efforts because I said I wouldn't do that to her. Well, not that she was particularly bad at it, but she had a go with the analog controls as opposed to using the D-pad, which is what I'm using here. And it didn't really seem to make that much of a difference between the two. Although I think she recorded a 1:45 as her best. The final lap she was on was actually looking like being a really quick time, but she didn't quite. She hit something, and then that was it. The lap was lost. So she's had a go at it as well. But I think her verdict, again, like a lot of people, yeah, it's just the handling. It's not quite as good as it should be. But that is how it is. That is how it is. So we're coming up to the finish line here. So 152 is my first little bit of sliding around there, and we cross the line 134.24. 134.24. Yes, you can see that amongst the glitching, which is yeah, disappointing, I'm afraid. Sorry about that, but as we bow out on playing more in 24 this year, that is exactly how it will be and done. So I hope Steve carries this on next year, into 2025 with some more PlayStation 1 games. Oh, just keep that going there. Yeah, managed to keep that. See, there we go. Just keep it going. But it's the thing is, it was a good run then until that point, and now you're never going to get that time back anyway. So I hope Steve carries this on for next year. If you do feel like having a go, I'll stick Steve's original link in. Plus, I think Gordon Gibb84 and Ross Borhor have had a stab at this as well. Put their videos on YouTube. You can go watch Ross's video and wonder how did he get that time. Which is, I've been sitting here wondering this when I started playing. How did he got that time? I can't see how he's done it, but anyway. And get involved, and you know, it's not a competition. Everybody's free to enter if you fancy it. It's just a bit of fun, and you know, if you end up having the quickest time, which if Ross is playing, you're not going to have that. But if Ross decides not to play 1 month, you've got a very good chance of winning. Just join in, have some fun. It's exactly what it is, just a bit of a laugh between a few of us. It's open to anybody. It's worth getting involved with, and it's something I've enjoyed doing this year. Just as long as Steve picks a game that I can actually play, which will be good. So we're coming up to the finish line now, 127, 128. Got to go through here, and I think the finish line is up over the hill. There it is there. I'm going to be outside my time, but it's still going to be fairly quick. 137, 130 something. What was that? I can't see. Good thing it tells you at the end. So yeah, 152, 134, 137.88. Average speed 139 kilometres an hour. Average time 141.36 for a lap. So yeah, there you go. I've really enjoyed doing that. Steve, thank you once again for these this year. It's been fantastic. If you want to get involved, anybody, stick your videos up. Link them through to Steve. I'll stick a link to Steve's videos and the ones that have already been done already. And thank you for watching. This is the Retro Bear. Thanks for playing more in 24.